What's up, everybody? Welcome to the PixelPlay Podcast, episode 202. I'm going to start saying that now. Probably not every week, because you know how I am with remembering things. But hey, we're past 200 now. And I like to remind these guys because apparently they don't pay attention either. So somebody's got to be doing the bookkeeping around here. But hey, we're back. Sorry for missing a week. Chris was on vacation in Jamaica. Asshole. And Kaylan was busy with other things on Tuesday. Asshole. And then I decided I don't want to do an episode on my own. Asshole. All right, so we covered all of that, and we are back to give you guys all that fun content. So obviously, we are all ready to talk about some video games. What are we going to talk about, you may ask? Oh, Kaylan's got a question.
How hot was Jamaica in July?
Oddly enough, better than here. It was
That's
about the
surprising.
same temperature. It was the same temperature, so I actually did look into it. This is going to be all in Celsius for anybody in the States listening. I'm sorry. I only know Celsius. But it was something like 31 degrees here or something like that. And it was 31 degrees in Jamaica, the exact same temperature. So we're talking Toronto area of Canada, and we're talking like Negril, Jamaica, like same temperature. But here there was like, you know, heat warnings and all of like
Yeah, it felt
very
like
high
40
humidity.
fucking 2.
Yeah, there it actually just like felt like what it was because the humidity wasn't too bad. And
You're by
there
the
was
ocean.
obviously no fires and stuff in the country that was making the air quality low. No,
Also
it was just
surrounded
like
by
perfect
water.
air. Also surrounded by water.
And lots of
yeah,
liquor,
so
I imagine.
there was some. I heard rumors of some liquor. I don't. I never saw any of
In
it.
Jamaica?
In Jamaica. Yeah, no, the temperature was perfect because it was like I didn't escape the heat. I escaped everything I hate about our current heat. I love heat, but I don't want like very humid air and all that kind of stuff, right? So, yeah.
But why in July?
We just needed a vacation and we had booked off the week like 4 months ago without any idea of what we were actually going to do or where we were going to go. We booked it 2 days before we left.
Nice.
Yeah, so it was
Nice.
And I
definitely
mean,
like
There definitely wasn't a part down south you were going to, so you kind of just decided to go, go around that.
And I've never been to Jamaica. There was great deals because one, not a lot of people traveling in the summer, and two, it was last minute. So it was just some of the rooms where they're like, we have rooms put on discount because this is in 2 days, and if people aren't here, we lose out on the money. So yeah, it was utterly fantastic. I would go back right now if I could. Well,
Oh, yeah, I think
after
it's great.
recording the podcast, obviously.
Of course.
Priorities.
He's,
Sure-
he's,
sure
he's there
thing,
right now.
buddy.
It's just a green screen.
Yeah, this is a green screen. I'm on the beach right now.
That explains the seagull on the Sonic shelf.
Yes.
Couldn't hold that one very long. So yeah,
No.
we are going to obviously talk about video games. That is something we sometimes occasionally do here. Kaylan brought forward an idea of us talking about games that we think are underhyped, hyped appropriately, and then overhyped. So we'll get into that stuff there. But first, it's been 2 weeks. The hell we been doing? I'll start. I don't have anything bad this time, Kaylan, I swear. Okay?
Yeah, I'm like, what is this going to be?
We recognize Adam from CS Radical from PixelPlay
Besides,
Podcast.
you're the one that's going to be talking more about Expedition 33 anyway. So if anything, you've probably got the worst thing to talk about according to your scale. So,
What?
well, you're the one that hates turn-based RPGs. So look, I'm just going by your scale here.
I never said I had turn-based RPGs.
Oh, no,
I said I hate JRPGs.
no. We're not having this argument, Mister. I hate JRPGs. No. Anyway, so I'll talk about two things I've been playing. One of them I finished. The other one I'm still working on, and I've been kind of coming back to here and there. For those asking, I have not played any Doom since the last time we spoke. I don't know why. It just isn't getting me to want to play it right now. I don't think it's necessarily because I don't like it. I think it's just I'm not feeling playing that kind of stuff right now. I don't know. Can't really explain it. But I have played through a couple of things. The first one is the closest thing to a turn-based RPG I can come up with. It's called Fretless: The Wrath of Rifson, which is honestly I would call it like Slay the Spire meets like rhythm mechanics. So it does have that same format of like you do have certain things you pull up like in a deck and you attack based on it, but your attacks also have like a Paper Mario-ish or Super Mario RPG like timed hits, or even with what Clair Obscur does, I guess at this point, there is a timed hit mechanic and also a timed defense mechanic. So it does have kind of that. It's a very short game. It was like 8 hours for me. It's mostly just like if you just want to chill out and have some fun, music-based adventures. Like even like I found it really, really hard because there are 4 instruments you can pick between, and I found like just sticking with the acoustic guitar was my favorite. Not just because it was a really good weapon, but just the soundtrack for the acoustic guitar was just generally really chill and really relaxing. So I actually just kind of vibe with it better. But like overall, it's just very stereotypical, like indie looking pixelated game. Apparently, it's the main character is based off of a YouTube musician by the name of Rob Scallion. I can't remember the pronunciation, but like even little things like that are kind of cool. So like I'd say it's like a solid like 7.5 out of 10. Like it's really, really good, but like I wouldn't say it's anything to cry home about. It's just something like a nice filler game in between. Like Chris, if you were ever just getting off of like some crazy 40-hour game and you needed something to kind of break the pace, this is kind of a good one to do it with.
Does look like something I'd play. There's no doubt in that.
I mean, all I had to do was say Slay the Spire, and you're like, what?
Yep, immediately.
And then the other thing is I transition here because apparently my system does not like it when I try to switch screens on Opera without it deciding to go, you want a black screen now? No, I don't. But I've also been playing something that I was very excited to, and I'm very happy to report that it is very much what I was hoping it would be, and that's Ninja Gaiden Ragebound. Which is exactly what I expected, only thank God they put accessibility options so that I don't bang my head against my desk for 17 times trying to beat a boss. So thankfully, when I give up, I can just turn the incoming damage down, or in one specific boss, I said, no, I'm done, and I turned it to 0 and just whacked away at it until it died, because I'm like, nope, I am not dealing with this for another 10 tries, because I just cannot figure this one out. I don't care. And after that, like, I've been mostly playing on, in the main levels, I'll play on, like, normal, and then the boss time, like, each defeat, like, depending on how well it goes, I'll start lowering it by, because it goes by 25% increments. So I'll usually, like, if the first try is mostly just me learning it and I figure, like, okay, I need a second, I'll keep playing. And then if I'm still not getting it, I'll turn it down to 75, and then I'll keep turning it down until eventually, like the one boss was where I go, nope, 0, you're not doing shit to me anymore. I need to get to this next level because I can't be playing this all day. I love this game, though. Like, it runs like a dream. It honestly, like, it feels like what I wish, like, I was playing when I was playing like Mega Man or all those games like back in the day, because I didn't really get into them much growing up, whereas I think they're way more my game now. And like this game does everything to me right. Like the platforming is really, really fun in terms of the different puzzles or how like certain things work. The battle mechanics are just crisp enough and just complex enough that it doesn't feel stale early on. There is a bit of difficulty in certain areas that I found were way harder in others, and it's just kind of something that I kind of worked along as I went. And the only thing that, like I said, I would complain about is just there's certain bosses where I'm like, it might just be me, or you might have put too much bullshit in on this one. But for the most part, I've genuinely enjoyed my time with it. And the fact that seeing series like this making a comeback, not just in full 3D, but having fun 2D old school adventures like this kind of make it well worth it, which makes me also excited for the Shinobi game that's coming out, I think, this year as well.
Yeah, I think it's this year as well.
I'm not looking forward to the Xbox Ninja Gaiden one that I know is going to whip my ass, and I'll probably quit after 2 hours, but I'm still going to try it, but I don't think I'm going to like that one nearly as much as this one.
I think you're going to like it.
I mean,
if you like this, you're gonna like the other one.
You apparently seem to be enjoying Clair Obscur Expedition 33, so what do I know? Maybe I will actually like, Dark Soulsy hard games at some point.
Anything can happen.
Anything can happen, but, I didn't have on my board that I was going to be really looking forward to a Ninja Gaiden game, so I guess, I don't really have any idea what might be interesting. But yeah, this is definitely, and especially because it's on Game Pass, like, I strongly suggest people check this thing out, so.
Cool.
All right, Kaylan, I want to know what you've been playing.
And you guys know what I've been playing. I've been playing Clair Obscur. I think I'm like almost done Act 2.
Yes.
I don't want to bug you with it, but I got the floor, so I want to talk about something else. What do you think the chances are that now with the Switch 2 having a mouse control feature, we're gonna have Mario Paint come back?
Well, they just released it in the Switch Online, the Super Nintendo version.
What?
Yeah, they just added that to the Switch Online service like a few days ago.
Also, I think, Chris, at one point we talked about that potential.
That was one of my we were talking we did the
Was
episode
it one
where
of the
it's
things
like,
when
oh,
we-
what's our predictions?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I was like, they're gonna, but I said there would be a new Mario Paint. I really feel there will
Right,
be a
I'm
new
thinking
one.
that weird, obscure, like, Sega one that you were talking about. We were doing a remake side quest.
Also, that they're gonna bring that too. No, that's not coming back.
That is
ever.
definitely not going to happen.
No, but
Yeah.
yeah, the Super Nintendo one is back. It's on the Switch Online service.
I just feel like now that we have that, like the mouse feature, like it just needs to come back. Like it would just, you make that game, you sell it for like 20, $30. It's going to fly off the shelf. Moms and dads are going to buy it for their kids to play and paint. I think that's a solid bet.
Yeah, I think so too. And I feel like it'll even have like dual, like where you'll have the like left and right mouse. Like you'll be
So
able to
you
do
can
two-handed.
Paint with your kid, like paint with your sibling. Oh man, that would just cause so many fights.
That would be amazing though.
I like it, yeah.
They'll probably
No,
bring
so
back
Claire-
that Fly Swatter game too.
Oh, that flies.
and you could do two-player.
Yes. I mean, did we ever confirm that you couldn't do two-player with that the first Mario Paint? I only had one mouse, so I couldn't confirm.
Yeah, that's the thing. I only had the one mouse, so I just don't know if it was even possible.
But even like they had like the music game too, where you can make songs.
Yes, and people have gone crazy with that.
Yeah, but they also tried to follow up on it with Wii Music, and that didn't go very well, so maybe they should stay away
Well,
from
because they didn't have the
music-based
painting in
games.
the Fly game.
You know what? That is a fair point.
Come on.
It's one of those ones where all like one alone cannot stand, but together.
Yes.
That is true.
Together.
People did do a lot with Ellie's guitar in Last of Us, so.
That's true.
Oh my god, I'd love to see what the internet does with a Super Mario music feature. But yeah, no, Clay Obscure, continuing on with that. It's clicking. I think I'm getting kind of tired with it. Like, I'm kind of ready for it to end.
That is kind of how I did feel around Act 3. So, you know, if you're getting pretty close to the end of Act 2, you're probably feeling what I'm feeling.
I'm at a point where I got to a certain part in the game, and for like I have to travel this area that kind of feels reminiscent of stuff I've already done before. So it's kind of like, all right, this feels a little padded. I'm kind of getting into the thing where I've got a routine now with my characters where I'm just like doing the same thing. Like I have got the auto command where it's just like going through the motions of how to like play my character. It's getting kind of old. It's fine. I'm not done yet, but I'm kind of at the point where it's like, okay, cool. Like I'm good for this to be over. I want to move on. I had to turn it down for a little bit to play it back on story because I was dealing with some of the boss fights at the end that kind of sucked, but then went back up to medium difficulty. I've been playing with the accessibility option of just getting the auto crits. I didn't want to deal with the whole button
like when you have to hit like X during the yeah, I had that on the entire time because it wasn't even that I wasn't enjoying it. I just couldn't get the timing right because I thought the window was way too short. So I said, screw it.
Yeah.
Just auto it. I don't want to think about that part. I'll deal with the dodges and stuff because that's a lot more a lot more doable.
Yeah. So I'm enjoying it, but I'm kind of ready to be done. Other than that, still playing my way through Plucky Squire. Still recommend that game. That game is awesome. That's it with me right now.
I gotta play Plucky Squire.
Chris is so disappointed that that's all he's said about Claire Obscure.
Yeah, like, yeah, it's your game of the year, Kaylan. You don't know it yet. Yeah, I love how you're both like around Act 2. Like, oh, that's when it started to like fall off for me, and I'm like, that's when I went and did every possible side thing ever.
Oh no, I've lost interest in the side stuff. I'm not doing with side stuff anymore. Like I just want to be kind of done. Like I said, the battles are starting to feel repetitious. Like nothing bad. It's just like I've had some already. I want to do something different, and I don't feel like this is doing something different.
Yeah. No, it is. I mean, JRPGs. That's kind of what they do. Yeah. Well, I've actually played some games. Even though I was gone for a week, I played a game a little bit before I left and finished it over the long weekend when I came back. So it's one of two games. This is Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War.
I think it's pronounced Blops. I've heard it pronounced
Blops. Yes, it's Blops Cold War, which I think is Black Ops 5. I think that's technically what it is.
It's 6.
No, 6 is its own game.
Yeah, 6 came out and it's just called 6. So I know that's the one number it can't be. That's
the only one.
Yeah, he's right that it's 5 because 4 was the one that didn't even have a campaign.
Yeah, and that's the kind of the thing, because I went into this. First of all, I didn't even buy it. I canceled my PS Plus subscription, and I'm just playing the few games I was given. Where it's like I want to play this without having to buy it. This is definitely one because it's a Call of Duty game. Like I'm not paying $80 or whatever these things usually are. Um, I loved Black Ops 1 and 2. Absolutely love those two games. When I say I love these games, I do not play multiplayer. I don't do any of that. I am purely talking campaign with these games. That's always been with me with Call of Duty. I'm not playing online. Maybe I would play zombies with like friends I know kind of idea because it's co-op. But other than that, like I only play the campaigns. Black Ops 1 and 2, incredible campaigns, was really, really well done. And I loved the time period. Very Cold War, like 1960s, 1970s kind of time period, which was really cool. Black Ops 3 went into the future and you're fighting robots and all this shit, and it was fucking horrible. It was so bad that I just uninstalled it. It wasn't too hard. It wasn't anything like that. It just, again, how do you go from like the Cold War-ish era about like, oh no, somebody might have a nuke to, oh, there's robots everywhere. Like, no. Then the fourth game, as Adam, you just said, had no campaign. So I was like not thinking this one was going to be any good at all. I was like, this is just going to be a continuation of the crap. This was phenomenal, the campaign. It is really good. It brought the characters from 1 and 2 back. It actually went back to like 1981. It fully just, I guess they realized like, man, people really liked the first two games and hated everything else. So they went back to it, brought back the characters and all that kind of stuff, and went back to that like, there's a lot of twists in the story and all this like very spy double crossing kind of stuff, which is really cool. Plus the game just actually felt good to play. The third one there was something off about it. They were trying to do like futuristic weapons and stuff, and it just didn't feel good. This one felt really good to play, especially since on the base PS5 where I played it, it had 120 frames per second mode, which I have the supported TV. It felt really damn good to play it like that, and still looked really good too. Because obviously, I guess, you know, each of the levels, it's not this massive open world, so they can keep it looking decent and running really well at the same time. I really enjoyed playing through this game. I could see I would still not pay like $70 or anything because I only play the campaign, and the campaign was over in like 5.5 hours. Like, it is still short. But if this is going to be on Game Pass kind of thing going forward, as obviously this is now owned by Xbox, if the campaigns were like this, I would always play it day one and just play through the campaigns. Like, it was really, really, really good. Yeah, I really liked it. I don't know. I don't have much else to say about it. My one complaint was the final level was surprisingly very short. Like, that just all of a sudden it ended and it went to the final cutscene and credits and all that. And I was like, the hell? I feel like there would have been more to that level. Like, some of the other levels had a lot more intensity and like felt like, oh man, like there's a lot on the line right now. And that's how the final level starts, but then all of a sudden it's just like over. And I was like, that was a little weird. But other than that, the game is great. It's short. Highly suggest it for anybody who likes, Cold War-ish kind of stuff. And it was actually like a return to form, I would say, for the Black Ops line. I hope 6 is as good because that's on Game Pass, and now that I've got caught up, I actually plan on playing it.
It's fine.
I heard that 6 was supposed to be good.
It's fine.
Have you played Cold War, Adam? Have you played 5?
I haven't played 5 because that wasn't put on Game Pass, but yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was like gonna play them all and everything, and I was waiting till they came to Game Pass, but I realized I had a bunch of them because of PlayStation Plus, and I was like, oh, I'll go through them. This was the only one I played out of 3. I didn't even play 4, and now 5. 5's the only good one. I really liked it, so I don't know. I'll see. I'll play 6 soon. I've installed it on my Xbox, and I'll probably play it there. I hope it has like 120 FPS mode and stuff too, because that'd be awesome. Mm-hmm. The other game I played was I got to play it twice because I played it on the plane to Jamaica and on the plane on the way home from Jamaica, and that's Donkey. No, it was there, but I did not play it. I luckily didn't. Donkey Kong Bonanza. I did play, the Donkey Kong game, and it's actually it's really good. Like, it is really fun. It's just that Nintendo like perfect game that has like great level design, great characters. The movement is very fluid. Like, everything is just so good. And like a lot of people played, this they started with Mario 64 with this. Like you get that just like I want to get every star, I want to go in and get everything. And then obviously Mario, not Galaxy, Mario Odyssey with like getting all the moons. They had like 1,000 you could get. They skirt that line of like kind of cool platforming and combat and all that kind of stuff, but also like obsessed with collecting all of the moons. Just replace moons with bananas and like, yeah, it's the same thing. I'm only on level. Well, it goes based on levels of like how deep into the Earth's core, or not Earth, whatever the planet's core is. I'm on 6 out of 16, so I'm like probably a third of the way done the game. After
Okay.
about 5 hours or so. And I'm not maxing out each level like I am continuing. Technically, I've skipped a level because there was an option to do that, which I didn't realize, and I kind of did. But like, it is so much fun to play. Like, you just kind of go in. You can pretty much smash anything, but it's still by design. Like you won't just go and smash everything and it's just like, wait, what am I supposed to do again? And blah, blah, blah. They still somehow figured out how while you're smashing, it's like there's always a bit of a purpose because when you slap the floor with that Donkey Kong attack, it does like this little sonar thing and it shows you if there's any items like bananas and stuff. And like you'll be smashing and all of a sudden you'll do that thing and all of a sudden it's like, whoa, there's a banana beneath me. And you'll just end up in like this small cave that maybe there is a specific way to find it just looking around, or you'd see it from a specific hilltop, but you just ended up making a big hole and found it by accident anyways. Yeah. And it's not even just this 3D. They have some bonus kind of levels. Like you'll find a door that has 3 bananas in it. And when you go in, it may be, beat all these bosses within 30 seconds, not bosses, beat these enemies within 30 seconds. And it's even brought back some old Donkey Kong Country levels from 1 and 2 so far, I found. It even remixes the old music and everything, and it's a 2D, like side scrolling, and you're still using the same moveset and the different punches and all that, but now in the 2D version of the world, and you'll always get 1 banana by completing it, but the other 2 are a little hidden throughout it sometimes and stuff. So it's just constantly throwing you new ideas, being able to just find random things, and all that kind of stuff. It's a lot of fun. It is expensive. It is in Canada. It's $99.99. Like this is one of those Nintendo games that they've decided to make very expensive. So it is like a much harder sell compared to something like Mario Odyssey, which is still only like $80, like $20 cheaper in Canada. But the game itself, like for all of Nintendo's pricing faults, if I was just going based on the game itself, the game itself is like a solid, like so far it's a 10 out of 10. I don't know if that'll change. I'm only 5 hours in, but I can't really find anything to complain about it because everything that it said it would do, it's doing that, plus still surprising me with new things. Yeah, like it's a lot of fun. Yeah, highly
I got
suggest.
2 questions. I was like looking at this and I got 2 questions watching this video. One, this seems like the most twitchiest game I've ever seen in the sense like it is constantly going. Like there is no slowing down. Does it feel like that when you're playing it?
No, whoever this person is in this video is just going ape shit.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I do not punch anywhere near as often or chaotically as this. I still am
Okay.
playing like I'm going to be 42 this year, so I still play like I would have on an N64 or something where I'm also doing a lot of platforming and climbing and stuff, looking for secrets where I'll like look around the map and stuff like that. I'm not just out there smashing buttons and breaking everything in my path. I don't play like that. And you don't need to. You absolutely do not need to.
Okay.
Again, this person
but
is
somebody's
just
kid
going
will
nuts.
enjoy the fuck out of that, which is
Yeah.
I think what they were going for.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like they've made it where if you're, a bit older and that's not how you normally play, you will still, obviously, your main attack is punching and you'll find secrets in the ground and it's a lot of fun to do it. Like sometimes I see a mountain and I'm like, I could climb that, but I think I'm just going to go straight. And like I'll just go straight through it and it's a lot of fun. But like they've made it where you don't have to. You can do a lot of just normal combat and not too much like punching and all the craziness and actually play it like more of a platformer. Or you can be a kid with TikTok ADHD and just smash everything and press every button, and you'll probably do well. You'll probably still do well. So, yeah.
The other thing I have is like, is this a way that this is captured? But like, this looks like it is like the colors are every color of the highlighter rainbow. Everything seems to be neon bright. Like, is it once again, is it like just the way this video is coming across? Like, or does it feel this like it's made all of Play-Doh colors?
So this level that we're seeing in the video is the worst of them for the colors. This is level like 6 or something like that. It's like this foresty level. That's what they went with. The game is very colorful. Very colorful. But like there's still like the snow world and everything is snow. There's the water world and everything's just blue or like the yellowish or golden sand kind of colors. It's not just like that color scheme or like that type of colors. That's just the one specific world, which you never spend too long in each world. You're maybe there like 45 minutes, maybe an hour, and then by that time you're on to the next world and it's like a completely different look, completely different color scheme, like all of that. Yeah. Now you could make it very colorful because it does have costumes that you can use like relics to buy or like items, collectibles that you find. And you can make like DK just all black or just like a really dark brown. You can make him the very bright red or purple or blue. Like they do give you options that, again, probably for the more twitchy kids.
It's very much like how Odyssey was with its costumes as well.
Yes. Yeah. Odyssey had that too. But the colors at no point, for the most part, are that bad at all.
I will say the one thing that I've noticed from all the footage that I've seen is that the camera really doesn't like it when you dig.
Yeah, the camera. So you get surprisingly used to it because you'll start digging and the camera's like, I don't know where to go. Like, do I show you the outside, the inside? It does show your silhouette and it kind of shows like the tunnel you're creating, even though it still kind of shows like the outer world that you're in. But then all of a sudden it'll like, as soon as it's like you break into a small room or like a small area, like with a banana or something like that, all of a sudden the camera's like right there with you. Yeah, it's not as bad as it can see. I think it's that you kind of have to be playing it to feel it because it feels very connected to what you're doing. Like you'll go and do the crazy punching maybe, or you'll move the camera and do other stuff. And it feels like where you would have wanted it to go. Like it feels good to play, but watching would be very, yeah, it'd be like, okay, like, so the camera's going where? Like, where are you? What's happening? Like, it's definitely something you need to play and not watch for sure. Yeah, but so far, really, really good. Really, really, really good. It feels very much like Odyssey. You can tell it's the same team.
Oh yeah,
very much.
Whatever team that is, because Nintendo doesn't name them.
No.
That's awesome. I'm gonna have to duck out for 1 second. I gotta go help with the baby. Sure. You guys carry on without me. I will be back.
Cool.
Yeah,
we'll do.
Sounds good.
Yeah, I think it's the one thing with Donkey Kong in a nutshell that's kind of like got me like equal parts interested and equal parts not interested, is that it seems so much like it's just Odyssey with a different coat of paint, that there's the part of me that's like, okay, yeah, that I really, really loved Odyssey, so that's really cool. At the same time, I'm like, this feels kind of lazy. Like, I know that they've done a lot of changes to it otherwise, but like every time I look at the game, I'm like, they literally just look like they put the engine there and they've just remodeled it a little bit.
Yeah, I could see people definitely thinking that for sure. It doesn't feel like Odyssey at all, just because everything in Odyssey was like slightly different. Even just the way you collect, like you would find a moon and you just had to touch it in Odyssey. With Donkey Kong, you're smashing. You have to actually break open the bananas you find and stuff. So you'll find it and you have to like punch it and destroy it. And a lot of like, there's a lot of different powers and stuff in this game. You turn into different animals and stuff like that through Pauline singing, which I know sounds ridiculous when you say it out loud, but like it's got a completely different moveset. And with Mario, where you could jump around and pull off all these tricks, Donkey Kong doesn't have them. It's all like smash or climb. And then, yes, again, there's a couple powers, but even then the powers are more like you become an ostrich, so you can like glide for a little while, but you have to be high up for it to work, or else it just doesn't do anything. So yeah, it does. It gives the Odyssey vibe, but I would more call it like if it was an Odyssey 2, but it just went a completely different direction than Odyssey 1 kind of idea. As if Square Enix had made this would have been like how Final Fantasy X-2 was to Final Fantasy X. Like it's just same feel, but like goes a completely different direction.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, it's not like, if I ever do get a Switch 2, which may never happen at this point, but who knows? Always time can change things. It's something that's at least on my radar, so we'll see how that goes, but...
Yeah.
Well, we will start on our main topic of the day. So, Kaylan, baby aside, he'll be back probably shortly, but we're talking about games that we traditionally think are either underhyped, hyped about correctly, or overhyped. So we're going to do one of each. And, it may come down to that. We'll just have to make Kaylan a hard rush 3 in a row, but we'll get to there when we get there. Trying to think what we should start with. Why don't we work our way down to the hot take at the end? So why don't we start with what we think is the most, underhyped?
I like it.
So Chris, I'll let you start.
Okay, so underhyped, right?
Yeah.
So my first one that I'm going to go, the one I was going to go with, which I know you have played, Marvel Midnight Suns.
Mm-hmm.
That was a game I felt was completely underhyped. Like as I know, you and I both talked about on the podcast and stuff as when we played it a year and a half or 2 years ago.
Phenomenal game.
It's so good. Like it's so phenomenal. And
that
I
game
think,
is the reason that I'm not actually that upset that XCOM 3 hasn't happened yet.
Yeah, it was the perfect XCOM game mixed with Marvel characters. And I know a lot of people have it's like, oh, Marvel's being overdone, and it's a tie-in game. It's not going to be good.
I won't be saying that when the new Arc Systems Works fighting game comes out for Marvel.
Oh no, definitely not. They also showed a lot of non-popular characters, and it was a much more gothic look and everything, and that's why it had magic and Ghost Rider and that kind of stuff. The game was so fucking good. It's insane. It was so much fun to play. You could play for, I know I had sometimes I played for just 45 minutes on my Steam Deck, and then there was times that I had it on my actual PC and I played for 6 straight hours. It's something you can just get lost in because the game loop is just so much fun. The battles are really fun, and then after that, there's a bit of relationship building and all that. You can explore the grounds and find some hidden stuff. The story was actually intriguing, which is surprising for that type of game because more usually it's just aliens are coming, bad, go XCOM team, that kind of stuff, right? Kaylan, I'm talking how underhyped Marvel Midnight Suns.
Oh, okay, cool.
By the way, yeah, yeah. I just found that game to be really good. I got it for dirt cheap because it was a humble bundle or a humble monthly or whatever it was. I think I got it for $5, and then after I was playing it, I immediately had thought I would have paid not, I don't know how much it was full price, but I would have paid $30 to $50 or whatever it is on sale. I would have gladly picked it up and felt it was worth it at that price. It was a phenomenal game. I had to put it down and tell myself I was done with it. The story was done, but I could have kept going with side stuff. I had to tell myself no, Chris, you need to walk away. You will keep playing this like a Balatro kind of idea.
Yeah, it's definitely one of those games that, I think we all kind of had the same reaction when we first saw it. Was XCOM is doing a Marvel game. Oh man, I hope that's good, because that's the kind of thing where it's man, they could really make this weird and fuck that up. And then of course the game comes out and you go, oh no, it's actually one of the best games I've seen in quite a while, and it's something different instead of it just being the same 5 types of games being done over and over again, but this one's a Marvel game. In the same way of look, I would love to care about Marvel Rivals, but I don't need to play another goddamn hero shooter.
No.
But
no.
How many games on the market are there out there that's like XCOM? Now in the indie scene, there's a few, but AAA or even AA doesn't really do that. It's literally just those devs.
Mario versus Rabbids.
Tell me I'm wrong.
No, he's not.
No, that's yeah.
So there's 2. Because there was this weird French World War II one, I think, but again, indie. So no one's really doing. I think the closest thing I can think of was Phantom Doctrine as being the biggest name that people are paying attention to before those 2. and that's still indie. So
Yeah. So that's my underrated game, underhyped. Love
all
it.
right.
Absolutely love it.
I'll do mine next. This is just in the case of like, I don't think it's talked about either well at all, or I don't think it's really talked about at all in the way that like people probably look at this genre a certain way. I genuinely think, and this may just be because I'm not in this type of community, and most people that aren't in this community wouldn't dare play these kind of games, but I do think that MLB The Show does not get anywhere near the amount of attention that it should. I think it's for a multitude of reasons. One, most people don't give a shit about sports games unless you're heavy into them, because everybody just assumes Madden, FIFA, and their predatory shit. Not saying that MLB doesn't have that loot box mentality first too, but they at least do a lot better and stuff like that. But I think the biggest reason is that, quite frankly, like, baseball's kind of been on the low turn for the last like 20 years in real life. So like it's just becoming less and less in the way that, like, say, you know, soccer has ballooned over the last little while. Like, even here in Canada, like, hockey is kind of having a bit of a comeback because the new women's league that started up last year has started to gain a little bit more attention to it. So I think that like other sports are doing a little bit better than, say, what baseball's doing. Baseball finally is seemingly on the uptick. Like, they just recently, for those who don't keep up, they are now actually being very involved with content creators. Like, MLB actually has a stake in one of the biggest baseball creators on YouTube called John Boy Media now. So they're actually like letting it happen. And they also just recently did this really neat idea, which was they played a game at Bristol Speedway, which is a NASCAR racetrack. So they had a baseball field built literally in the middle of where like all the cars would be kept during like the pits and stuff like that. So like they're doing these interesting things now because I think they realize that their audience keeps getting older because young people are not giving a shit about it. So now they're starting to be like, okay, let's start working with content creators. Hey, let's start going into other places that normally, you know, we would never even fathom going to. And especially now that MLB The Show, to go back to the game, is now multi-platform, like it's now on Xbox. And I'm assuming at some point they'll probably, I think they're working on getting it on Switch. I'm not 100% certain on that, but I know it's probably something. If that game ever makes it to PC, it's gonna go mad. Like, it's gonna get a lot more attention. But I think that despite the fact that, like, you can tell that a large portion of what that game is designed for is to get you to spend money on its currency, so you buy packs, much like Madden or FIFA do with theirs. I still think that what MLB The Show does with what that even mode alone is way better, because I think what it gives you for free is way better in the long term. And also they have these really good side modes, like they have their Road to the Show, which is like, you know, being, you know, your journey from a rookie upwards. And they started adding, so you can be the first woman ever to get into MLB. So they start creating like a fictional what if storyline. They also do historical things with the Negro the Negro League's museum from like the old days of like your Josh Gibsons, Jackie Robinsons before he became a Dodger. So they'll give you history lessons on stuff like that. And I think it's the intrigue of them, you know, trying to push it to being more than just a basic sports game. The only thing I would want them to do is to do something a little bit more arcadey as well with it, just to really push in the fun aspect. If they do that, I think it's going way over the edge. But I think as it stands right now, it's one of those games that I think most people just ignore, because if you're not deep into sports gaming, you don't care about a damn thing that game does.
It's funny you mentioned the arcadey thing, because as you were talking about it, I 100%ed MLB 22 on the Xbox. I think it was 22. And it had a mode on that one, which was like old school, like 90s baseball game, where it was like very zoomed out and like very arcadey. And that was what I was actually thinking of, like, when you were talking about like, your review.
And again, it comes back to what we've talked about so many times of companies going back and just getting these small teams to make this small budget game. Like, if San Diego Studios or if Sony just literally went, hey, we're the ones that produce MLB games. Hey, why don't we give this to, I don't know, like some other smaller dev on our team, and be like, hey guys, go make something that looks like what the old like Sega Genesis baseball games look like. Your Tommy Lasorda's baseball, or what's that future one, Chris? The
Super Baseball 2020
something like that, yeah.
Something, yeah.
Or like what World Series baseball used to be in like the old games. Or there's one on Super Nintendo, I remember. Well, there's Super Batter Up, which was the Nintendo one. There was also one that was like, I think it was based off ESPN Baseball Tonight. I think it was based off of. Or Ken Griffey Jr. Slugfest. Like, there was a lot of those kind of games back then. and I think like, and I know Super Mega Baseball exists for those that are well versed in baseball games. I mean like MLB in the way that like I can't remember what the name of the company is that's brought it back, but how Backyard Baseball is suddenly making a comeback on PC, and they're bringing back the old like 99 and like 2002 game. Like that shit is what I want to see more of, because I think that it works really, really well. In the same way that like, man, like 2K, I don't know what it takes for you to get the license, but get NBA Jam back on consoles. Like, what are you doing? Anyways, I've spent enough time talking about sports on a game podcast, so Kaylan, you're up. What's the most underhyped game to you?
We gotta hit all the demographics. One for me, like I had two in my mind, but there's one that like I actually feel like I really go back and think about all the time. And I think it gets a little bit of crap because one of who the publisher / developer is, and then two because it was followed up very quickly by a game that kind of took what it was doing, and then needed like some switching. I'm really sorry. I'm needed again. I will talk to you guys. Okay, I'm so sorry. I'll leave you on that cliffhanger.
We'll never know.
We'll never know.
All right, well, we're moving on. Screw him. Screw him.
Yeah, screw up.
Live podcast, I say, as we're recording this, but we just do it in one shot. Anyway, so Chris, why don't we move on to the appropriate amounts of hype?
So I'm not sure why this is the one that entered my mind, but it's just I remember this game having like very much where people were like, wow, this seems like it's going to be this type of game. And to me, it delivered exactly that. Not like it was like game of the year or anything like that. It was just like so appropriately hyped by everybody. And that's the Kena Bridge of Spirits, that game that looked like a Pixar film. Because I feel like when people saw that, it was like, oh, okay, so it's like a 3D platformer that looks like a Pixar movie. And then you play it, and then it's a platformer that's like a Pixar movie. Like it just gave, to me at least, exactly what I was expecting and hoping for, and it delivered on it fully, to me at least. I know there's some people I think I didn't like it as much, but then there's also some people that praised it as like the greatest game they've ever played.
Yeah, like I don't think there was ever a point where like people have been sitting there being like, oh, this game's hot garbage, or oh, this game is like Game of the Year edition. It's always been like, like most of the generalized opinion seems to be it's all right.
Yeah, like it to me, it was just like that perfect, like good game, not bad, not insanely incredible or anything like that. It was just like, hey, here's a platformer that's kind of cute, and it's like a Pixar movie. The graphics are going to look great in the sense that it's like a Pixar movie, and go and just have fun. And I did. I remember playing it on the PS5. I grabbed it when it came out. I played through it. I got all the trophies except one, because one was like extremely hard to get, and they patched out a way of getting it a decent way and stuff. But yeah, Kena Bridge of Spirits just hit exactly the way I had wanted it to. The amount I thought it and hoping it would. It lived up exactly to my personal expectations.
Yeah, it's definitely one that like I didn't get. I played like maybe a couple hours of it and was like, this ain't for me, but no big deal. I think either I got it from from sharing with you, or
yeah, I think so.
I think it might have been free at one point. I can't remember. It's been a while now. But yeah, like I thought it was fine, but like I was sitting there being like, I don't need to play this all the way through. I think I'm good with what I got here. I like that you took the path of like, this is like everybody thought it was like average, and we're okay with that. I'm gonna go in the opposite direction, be like, this is the game that I think everybody is hyped high enough and correctly, and I think universally, I don't think anybody really disagrees with it. And whether you talk about like at the time the game was at its most popular, or even today with people clamoring for it to come back, I still believe firmly that Guitar Hero and Rock Band are still given the appropriate amounts of hype that it's ever been given. It's never been underhyped. It's never been overhyped. The only time I could say maybe it was underhyped was like after the first game, when most people didn't know what it was. But the second that it was a common knowledge thing after Guitar Hero 2, I don't believe for a second that it's ever been overhyped. And I think it's always been like everybody understands like this was, quite frankly, the coolest rhythm game that we ever got. All of those games.
Completely agree.
Did it get oversaturated by specifically Activision because they love to ruin things? Yes.
Yes.
But it's not like they were bad games. It's just we just wanted like just add DLC to it. You don't need to sell as a whole other thing. Or if you just want to sell like instruments, like, okay, cool, here's the Beatles, guitar, like, cool, do that. Like, come back to us when you have something different for like Guitar Hero 4. Instead, they were like, so here's like 17 games in the span of like 8 months.
Brutal.
Like, I
They had
think if you pull
so
just
many.
Rock Band, and Rock Band did it too, because now that I think about it, was Beatles was Rock Band, I'm thinking how I think it was Guns N' Roses and Metallica for Guitar Hero were some of the examples. I think Aerosmith was also one of theirs too.
Smith, yeah, I
But, like,
remember that
they
one.
kept making standalone games where it's like Rocksmith has done it right in the modern day, where they would always just release packs of like 5 songs of an artist, or like they
Yeah.
do like, here's the pop punk one, and here's 3 songs from these groups you never heard of before. But hey, if this is the kind of genre that you're curious about, here's some stuff. And like they've always done it right. But like I still think today, and it would obviously never work now because couch co-op just doesn't really exist the same way that it did back when it was in its heyday. But like, there's a part of me that if I had a place where I didn't have to worry about people literally above, next, and below me in an apartment building, I would love to have drums again. I still have mine. I just can't use them because the kick pedal would make so much goddamn noise.
Yeah.
I'd be getting the broom on the ceiling treatment.
Oh, those were. Yeah, I agree. That's a really great example. Like, just there was hype around them, and it was very appropriate because everybody was into it, and
Like,
it was
everyone
fun.
was like, you went to a party, and if somebody had to be like, oh shit, you got that, oh, I'm so excited, and you play it, and it was fucking exciting. Like, it was great.
Yeah,
There was
yeah,
never
it
a
lived
dull
up.
moment with it.
I remember going to
Sober
my
or
family's
drunk,
house.
I say as the person who was never drunk, but it's fun watching other people stumble through stuff while I was sitting there playing expert drums.
Oh yeah. I remember even going over to my parents' place and they had Rock Band, and everybody, my mom, who is not a gamer at all, my mom is good at one game, which is Wii Bowling in Wii Sports, and she doesn't actually do it right. It's just this weird movement she does a strike every time. Like, she figured out this weird flip hand thing and it just always did it. It's the only game she's ever touched in her life. And she would, like, on Rock Band, she'd either do the singing or she'd be playing a guitar. Like, everybody was into it. And like, it was just so much fun. As a fun fact, I actually had cops show up once to my house at my parents' house because our neighbors called the cops that were playing music too loud, and it was just Rock Band. And the cops showed up and they're like, "Oh, you guys are just playing some video games? Okay, never mind. Like, it's fine." And it, like, those memories and like those times of playing that, like, every single time it was hype. Every single time it was so much fun.
Yeah.
So much fun.
If there's anything in gaming history that I wish I could go back and experience for the first time again, I think that might actually be it.
Yeah, me too.
Like, the first time of sitting on a drum set and actually like playing. I think the first song I ever played was Paranoid. And
yes.
I was like, holy crap, like, this is really, really hard, but this is fun. And then like a year later, after actually owning a copy, I'm like playing fucking Dream Theater on fucking expert, being like, this is easy. I could play drums, and then getting on a real drum set and not even be able to keep a basic 4/4 beat.
Yeah, for me it was the first time I played guitar. I was working at Best Buy at the time in university, and Guitar Hero 3 was starting to become really popular, and I had just gotten a used PS3 because that thing was expensive and I wasn't getting it at launch at full price. I finally got one, and you couldn't get Guitar Hero. Like, you just couldn't. They were selling out like as soon as stock would show up. And one day when I was working, there just happened to be a few left at the end of the day when my shift was over, and the manager let me buy one. I went home, and I'd never actually played it yet. I just didn't have any friends that had it yet, and I ended up being the friend that started the whole thing with all my friends, with my family, with everything. We ended up with Rock Band after that and all that kind of stuff. But I just remember playing like through the main, I guess, campaign or whatever you want to call it of Guitar Hero 3. It got to the point that my dad had Guitar Hero 2 on my old PlayStation 2, and he would play. There was only like 2 or 3 songs, like Sweet Child
That's
of
the
Mine.
thing. People forget that was PS2.
Yeah. Yeah, he had the PS2 one because I bought it for him because he had my old PS2, and he played like every night. I'd hear it all of a sudden, Sweet Child of Mine would come on. I could hear his foot tap into the music and he was playing. He loved it.
And the sound of the chick, 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 chick.
Yeah. My dad also turned up the TV to maximum, so he thought he was like literally at a concert. I don't even think I could hear the guitar. I could hear his foot on the floor because my room was right below him, and I could hear the speakers because also he would use like he had like the surround sound and everything hooked up to that one TV. But he would play the same song over and over. Like the amount of times I heard that song was insane.
Well, I guess he could answer the question. He knows where he's going now. He's just going to hit restart song.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, every single time.
There you go, Axel. That was the answer to the question. Where are you going now? Back to the start.
Right back. Gonna get my money's worth on this game.
Yeah, it's one of those things that like, I mean, as someone who has played guitar since he was 13, so we're talking 20, almost 25 years now. Rocksmith, I think, is the best version of these kind of games because playing a real guitar is ultimately the end goal. There were a lot of people, as an aside here, I used to teach guitar in like my tail end of high school, early college. And a lot of people around that time picked up a guitar because they thought they could do it playing Guitar Hero and learned very quickly that there were more than 5 buttons. Yeah, so for those who don't know, the average guitar has 21 frets, 6 strings. So if you do the math, it's a little more than 5.
Wait, you don't divide those two to make just 5 buttons? Oh my god, no.
So there's definitely some people that got caught a little by surprise by how much extra work it was going to take. But like, those were the best of times too, because I think that's when people were the most interested in music ever. And around the same time, you had DJ Hero. You ended up getting Rock Band 3 had a keyboard, so like that started becoming a thing. I'm surprised, as we stand today, that there isn't a game like. I'm sure there'd be a way to figure it out because they figured out how to make a USB for guitar. Like, I'm surprised that there's been no game that's tried to do this. Now, granted, I think it's because the consumer base might be a little bit smaller. Although I don't think it would be with keyboard, but like having the fact that there's no version of Rocksmith, not even necessarily made by the same people, but like no one's tried their hand at doing it for a keyboard, for electronic keyboard, I should say. What is a keyboard can only be electronic. There's no such thing as that's a piano, dumbass. Or like an electric drum kit. Because honestly, like as I learned very quickly, I actually am really good at drumming. The problem is I'm best at it at this current point. Now, if I had all the money in the world, could own my own place where I could have a drum set, I could probably learn it proper. But what helped back then is I can mimic what I'm reading on screen. So like if I was told like what I needed to do, I think I could do that by reading and going with it. Just on my own, I wouldn't be able to pull it off. I'm not sure, maybe I could now. Like I think I've just got a bit better rhythm than I did back then, but like I think the idea of like neither game existing, and I think keyboard would be a little more difficult because there's obviously there's quite a number of keys. So that's a lot of lighting up you got to do. Although I guess with a widescreen, like I don't think it'd be that out of the realm of possibility either. I don't know. Like there's just a lot of things that I'm probably not thinking about. But the fact that it stopped at Rocksmith in like I don't even know when the original was because I know the one that I play is 2014 edition, but I know there was one earlier than that. Let me just quickly double check here.
Like 2012.
Let's see, because every time I type in Rocksmith, it immediately goes to
the
2021. So like we're almost 15 years in, and no one else has tried to touch this market at all.
Yeah,
and I
it's
know,
crazy.
And I know it's probably because they just see what happened to Guitar and Rock Band and be like, well, no one clearly cares about music games. To which I'm like, that is not true at all. It's just no one wants to fork out the money for buying new plastic toys, which is why Rocksmith has actually worked, because most people probably have a guitar lying around somewhere because they've tried to do it at some point. That's the audience they're looking for, is the people like the old, like 50, 60-year-old guys that have had a guitar sitting in their basement for 20 years and just keep saying they're going to pick it up one day and never have. Like there's lots of people out there. And also, not to mention, like an electric guitar, if you really want one, it's not that expensive. Like if you're able to buy a video game console, you can buy a pretty cheap electric guitar for way less than that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and I've got the acoustic guitar that I bought specifically that could be plugged into an amp because of the Rocksmith peripheral, where it's like, you know, it's the aux cable on the one end, but just USB on the other. And I was gonna play. I was all the way back in 2015, so I'm 10 years in of being a guitar owner. And you have actually played my guitar more times than I have because I've played 0, and you have probably played 4 or 5 times on it.
Well, that's also because I actually played a lot. So when I look at a guitar, my brain goes, I want to play that right now.
Yeah, and when you start tuning it, it makes me very happy because I have never tuned it.
But like even looking at like our local music chain here is called Long and McQuaid. You can get electric guitars in Canadian at like 200, 250. And like not even like basic bitch looking ones. Like there are ones that I'm looking at right now that are like not the Flying V, but like those metal ones that are like jagged on the one side, or like full on like bright blue or whatever else. Like they exist for relatively cheap. So like a game console at one point used to be $500. It's not that now, but like for more than half of the price, you can get the guitar. And Rocksmith on its own comes with the cable if you buy like the full edition. Now, sometimes they don't, or if you buy it used, different story. But like, I think they sell the cable separately, or even then, I'm pretty sure somebody might else do it otherwise. But like, it's not nearly as expensive as you think. Now, if you want to get into things like electronic drums or keyboards, that can get a little more different. That can get a little more complicated. I think with electronic drum kits, I think the last time I was looking, because I was curious at one point, I think like the cheaper ones usually are around like 400, I think. Let's quickly check. No, I don't want just pieces. I want full-on kits, you jackass. This took way more pages than I thought it was going to take. I figured I was going to be closer. It looks like it's going to be in the 4. Yeah, the cheapest one I can see right now is normally 500, and it's on sale for like 425. So like that's more the game console side of things. And keyboards, I imagine, are going to be a little bit cheaper because obviously there are ones that people buy for kids. They're not going to be nearly as crazy.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I imagine that that's going to be a little bit on the cheaper side as well. As I quickly change that. Oh yeah, you can find ones that are like even cheaper than electric guitars. You can find like Casio 61 keyboards that are like 180 bucks Canadian. So like probably like 150 bucks or less US. So like it's not a price issue in the same way that like anything else is. And the difference is too is like it's one thing to buy plastic Guitar Hero or Rock Band instruments because they're only for one purpose. If you buy an electric guitar, it's not just for a game. So like you can justify that way more. The drum one is going to be the only difficult one, and even then I'm sure you could probably put together like I know there are I know Alessius does it, but they'll have like these drum pads that are just like 4 drums. I'm sure there are things you can get around, although like at that point like you'd rather just learn how to play the drums. You want to play the kick pedal and the cymbals too, but either way. Like, at least for keyboard, I'm genuinely shocked that no one's tried to hit that market.
Me too. Especially with keyboard. Yeah, because I'm assuming that most common like modern keyboards and stuff would actually have like a USB connector. Like they're already an electronic
I mean, even if they don't,
item.
It's not hard to have something that like there are MIDI keyboards, but they're way smaller. But like I'm sure that it wouldn't be difficult to find a connector. Considering that people figured out how to make a guitar into a USB connector. So like it's not like it can't be impossible. Even an adapter's got to be a possibility.
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
Yeah. Well, I stalled long enough to see if Kaylan would come back while we talked about music and games. So we'll move on to our last bit, which is the most overhyped, the one that you're all here for, aka like the two of you that made it this far. But you know, such is how YouTube metrics, especially with podcasts, work.
Yes, absolutely. Well, for my overhyped, Adam, you might remember this. I feel like you might. There was this one game. It was going to be such a big deal when it came out. Not like a big AAA game. It was more like a game from our childhood. The original creator was coming back with his own. Yeah, what do you think it is?
It's Mighty Number 9, isn't it?
It's Mighty Number 9. You do remember that? I can't believe I'm gonna say this. I kickstarted that game. Like I was like all
so you're
in.
talking overhyped in the sense of like it was overhyped before it came out.
It was overhyped even before it released. Everybody was like, "This is the original creator of Mega Man. He's making a new Mega Man because he's not with Capcom anymore."
Because what is it? It's not Keiji Inafune. Or am I mixing him up with somebody?
No, I think that's his name. I think so.
Oh yeah, it is. Thank God. I'm like,
Yeah.
knowing me, it's gonna be something like, no, I'm thinking Koji Kondo. That's what I thought I was mixing up. Thank God. Okay,
Oh,
brain.
the Nintendo composer.
Good for you, Adam. You're not completely terrible at remembering classic fucking names in the game industry.
But yeah, for me, it was like everybody had this hyped. Everybody. And sure enough, it released, and it was not good. It was. I never finished it. I own it. I have it on Steam. I never went back to it. I played like 2 levels, and I was like, this is garbage. Like, this is just, the controls are awful. And the crazy part is, it wasn't long before that Mega Man 9 and 10 came out.
Not to mention that
from
there's
Capcom.
indie games like 20XX that came out that were way better.
Yeah, and since then, way more. And it's like, how did the creator of Mega Man make one of the biggest just flops ever? There was so, like, everybody was talking about this game. Everybody was like praising it before it was out.
It almost makes you glad when certain things just disappear from Kickstarter. Like, in a way, I'm kind of glad that we talked about this way long time ago. I think it was even on Cartridge and Quarters days about how there was both a Wild Arms and Shadow Heart successor being kickstarted, and neither of them are happening. And you're almost like, thank God, because if that ended up sucking, I don't know what I would have done with myself.
Yeah. Oh.
Unlike Shenmue, which just continues to keep happening, and people are like, no, guys, it's actually good. And then you play it, and you're like, what are you talking? No.
Yeah, I've never played it.
Shenmue 3 is so bad.
Is it?
It's so bad.
Yeah, I have no desire to play a Shenmue game. I don't know what it is. I saw like him in a forklift, and I'm like, do you just go to like work? I don't understand. Just no. All right, I am curious though. What's your overhyped going to be?
Well, I mean, if we were doing the overhype before it came out, that was definitely Anthem, but I'm not going to go there because I think I've already buried BioWare enough on the show. But you know who I never get tired of burying? Square Enix, because Final Fantasy VII, the original, is still way too overhyped. Way too many people have it number 1 on their list, and I'm like, bro, no, it's not even top 5. Honestly, maybe I could justify 5th or 4th, like, just because of like its like overall value to people, but I genuinely still hold fast. And this is like, and by the way, I'm not trying to shit on people for thinking that it's their favorite game. It's more being like, I think you might be wearing rose-colored glasses a little much, because I think a lot of that comes from it's the first one that a lot of people played, because most people weren't really paying attention to the Super Nintendo ones, even if you were our age, because like JRPGs weren't really, like, you weren't really playing Japanese games back then, like, unless they were Nintendo specifically. You were playing whatever Mario or Zelda games were coming out. But Final Fantasy VII, I think, is where a lot of people, like, especially in their like mid to late 20s, especially. I mean, even like early 30s, I guess, can kind of qualify as well. But like, those are like the ones that like when they were like really young, and like that's what their version of what me and you were probably with Final Fantasy 2 or Final Fantasy 2 and 3, aka 4 and 6, because Square just loves making things confusing back then.
Yeah.
But like 7 to me, like, and I do have a much fonder opinion of it because of the remake, but like I went back and played the original like maybe a year or so before the remake came out, because, you know, once it got announced, I had to pay attention to what was going on with it again. Kind of reinvigorate, because also new eyes, you know, everything, like replaying certain games at an older age has really changed how I think about a lot of them. You know, it really reinforced to me just how good 6 is, for example. Like, that's just one of those things where, you know, it really tests the time when, as you get older, you play it and you like it more. 7, on the other hand, like, I enjoyed when I played it on PS2, because that's how I played it, because I didn't own an original PlayStation. Like, I didn't hate it, but like, I went through and I'm like, this is fine. I actually enjoyed 8 and 9 more at the time, because I think I just enjoyed the story a little bit more. And because I've said it before too, Midgar is to me where the original stops being fun. Like, as soon as you leave Midgar, it stops being nearly as interesting. And as I got older and played it again, that was mostly reinforced, but then I also got really heavier in my views of like, Sephiroth was a very boring villain back in the old game. And I still kind of think that is today, but I think that's more just because I think this is just my own personal taste in things. I think what a lot of people fawn over Sephiroth as the best villain is not because of anything he really does in the story, so much as he's just the coolest looking motherfucker like that Square Enix has ever created. Like, I can't take that away. He's still one of the coolest characters they've ever created. Like, that's not leaving.
Oh, 100%.
The guy literally has a fucking, like, a pole vaulter, I think, would have trouble using his sword. Okay?
Yeah.
So, like, it's just one of those things where I think that they did certain things really, really well. I just think that a lot of people look at it with a lot of nostalgia and a lot of rose-colored glasses wearing that I think kind of puts it a little bit over. I do think the remake is honestly the best version of itself. Now, Rebirth has kind of erased a little bit of that goodwill that I had going towards it. We'll see how the final game,
agreed.
I'm assuming, plays out. I'm not looking forward to it fondly at this point, but we'll see. But I do genuinely think that going back through the catalog, and maybe if I go back and play 8 or 9, things will change. I'm hoping that the 9 remake is actually a thing and gets, shown off at some point, because I'm tired of seeing the rumors every 5 months. But
yeah,
I like, as it stands, if I don't count remakes or re-releases or like remasters, say like what a Zodiac Age is for 12 either, I don't think I put 7, at in my top 5 still. I think I still put 10 and 6 minimum. 4 is probably in there as well. I think Tactics Advanced specifically is because it's the one that I play. I still never played Tactics the original, which is what I'm looking forward to with the new one. And then beyond that, what would I put above that? I think at this point, I look at 14, even though I never really got super into 14, I still look at 14 of what it is and be like, they did a tremendously good job with that game. And I'm talking about obviously a Realm Reborn and not the OG. But,
not the OG, no.
I think if I really had to pick a top 5, like, I mean, if I had to count like ones that I finished, then I obviously would take 14 out, and I'd probably put 12 back in there, because I think, despite I have a lot of complaints about 12, I still think that 12, like, as a setting, is still one of the coolest games I've ever done. And honestly, here's my hot take, Chris, since, we're still waiting on Kaylan and I can just gush about Final Fantasy some more. I actually think still to this day, 12 has the best voice acting of any Final Fantasy game.
I agree with that. 12 had really, really good voice acting. Not just for the time, like even today. It's insane.
I still think it holds today.
Yeah, I completely agree.
Like, if
with
you
that.
were to give it a full remake, I think you wouldn't even have to re-record it. Just if there's any way to like modernize it and clean it up just a little bit so it sounds a little more modern day, like it was recorded a little bit more, like, I think you could justify it.
Yeah, completely agree. And I'm not gonna lie, I agree with you with Final Fantasy VII. I still like it. I think it's a good Final Fantasy. I think it's a lot better than a lot of the
and like
newer ones that come out.
I'm not even saying it's overhyped because it's aged terribly visually. That's not even remotely part of it for me either.
No. It's just, like, it still isn't the best Final Fantasy. It's not number 1, and in fact, it wouldn't be in my top 5 either. I was actually going through in my head as you were going through it. For me, it's like 4 is number 1. 6 is number 2, and that's completely interchangeable. I think 6 is actually the better game. It's more just 4. I feel a little
still
bit
claim
more fond.
6 is, quite frankly, the best designed JRPG I've ever played. Chrono Trigger would not be far behind it.
Yeah, 100%. So I've got 4 and 6. 9 is then next, and then I have 10, and then I have Tactics, like the original. Like 7 might come in after that.
I think ironically, if I was to place them, I think 7 might be 7th, because I think I put 9 at 6.
Yeah. Like for me, I think I like 7 a little bit more than 8, and that's only because of the drawing of the magic. That's it.
If 8 just had a normal, like, if 8 had 9's like just basic battle system.
Oh yeah,
I genuinely think 8 is not looked at nearly as unpopularly.
Yeah,
because like the characters, they're not the greatest, but they're fine. The story's actually relatively interesting for a good chunk of it.
The story's amazing, and the cutscenes, the way you'd actually like move, and then it would just be that your character's actually moving with a cutscene playing in the background, and then all of a sudden the camera would turn, and you're in a cutscene, and you were in it the whole time, even though your character is still moving.
Yeah, like
some of the cinematic stuff.
The cutscenes were like you were still in that top-down like pixelated thing, but you could see it's almost like you were playing it on a canvas.
Yeah. And there would be like a battle going on behind you, and then all of a sudden like the camera would swoop and it's just full cutscene. And it's like, how the hell did you do that on a PS1? Like, you had to load that cutscene in a while ago, because this is based on a CD. Like, holy shit. But yeah, I think that 8 has the stronger game than 7. It's just that it doesn't have the, unfortunately, just the battle mechanics fall with the drawing of magic and stuff. I think the actual game itself is better, like 8.
Yeah.
I really do think that.
Yeah, I think for all its faults, like 7's like, and at no point are we ever saying that 7 isn't important. I think it's just one of those games that, like, in the way that I do believe that there's a lot of games, especially in like the for people our age, from anywhere between the NES to PlayStation era, between those 3 generations, I think there's a lot of games that we look at and give way too much credit because it's just what we remember. In the same way that, like, I've gotten really fortunate that I've been able to look past this with a lot of bands. There are a lot of bands that people will not give any credence to the newer albums. Like, I'm a big Iron Maiden guy. I actually think the 2000s albums they put out are the best things they've ever done. And a lot of people would think that's sacrilegious because of, obviously, albums like Number of the Beast and Peace of Mind, which has, like, the Trooper on it. Like, but I genuinely think that it's a mixture of, like, I also, a lot of, especially, like, older recording, like, man, listening to certain records from, like, the 60s and into the 80s are really difficult because they sound so old. Like, I love Rush, but man, like, hearing early Rush albums can be a little weird because some of the mixing just, it sounds different. When you're so used to, like, modern day mixing now, it sounds so weird. So, like, I do end up liking a lot of their later stuff. Sabbath is similar. Judas Priest, very similar. Although Judas Priest, I think, has a good middle ground in the 90s. Like, Painkiller, that album does really well for that. So, like, I try really hard to not put nostalgia as part of why I take certain things. Now, not everybody's able to do that, and I'm not even able to stop that sometimes either. There are just some games that, like, you know, I do say 6 is my favorite all time. Now, well, I'm at the point that it used to be like 10 was my favorite, and now I've actually really sat back and gone, you know what? There's enough that I can pick at 8 or at 10 for that I would give 6 the edge. And it really isn't a nostalgia play, because, like, I've played through all of them many, many times now, and it really is a case of, like, I've had the chance to really pick them apart. Not everyone's gonna want to do that, and it's not even a case of nobody can. I think it's a case of sometimes you just don't want to, because you don't want to take away some of the luster off your favorite games from when you were a kid. You know, like, realistically, is The Bouncer a great game, Chris? No. But I got some fond memories of that game.
Some really fond memories of that game. That was a great game.
You just, despite the fact that it really isn't.
No, it really isn't. Like, on Metacritic, it's probably got a 0, but
like, you watch how people did it at GDQ this year, and you can tell it was a finely made game.
Yes, it was fine.
Very fine. But yeah. Like, and even to bring up another one that I consider for the overhyped, Kojima games in general, I think, are one of those that I think that people kind of put a little bit too much into. In the case of, like, Kojima, I think is the closest we have to a cult of personality in the gaming industry, where I think people just kind of take what they saw in, like, say, the original trilogy Metal Gear Solid. I know a lot of people still will talk about 4 a lot, but I think 4 is one of those games that's a little more divisive comparatively compared to the old PS2 ones. But I think that he's one of those folks that, like, the people that are so deep into it, like, there's no criticism that can be levied to it. And I think that that's also made, like, I'm excited to play the 3 remake, but I'm also very concerned that I'm going to play it, and, like, in a couple of hours I will go, I still don't get why people think this is so good. And I think that's not because I don't think the game will be, like, good. I think it's just because people have hyped it to so much that, like, I'm expecting Game of the Year every time I pick one up. I think there are games that I've also been susceptible to over the years that have made the same problem with me. The original God of Wars, although I think it was just because I didn't really like that style of game back then anyway. But, like, originally Uncharted, similar story. Like, I still don't think Uncharted, the original 3, are that great. I love 4, but I really don't like like, 2 I think is a 7, and that's the highest that I give any of the trilogy games. So, like, there are just certain things that, like, when you play them, not when they first come out, and you got all of those mythical legends about them. It's why, like, we talked about it earlier, I will never watch Lord of the Rings at this point. And it's not even because, well, I mean, part of it is because I've done it I haven't for so long that what's the point in starting now? But like, I'm at the point where I just don't want to start it because if I don't like it, I'm gonna be like, I can't even tell if I don't like it because like it's actually bad to me, or if it's just because I'm expecting the greatest thing I've ever seen and I'm not getting it because that's just what I've been told for so long. And I guess that's the thing with overhyped too. Just because we call something overhyped doesn't necessarily mean it's bad. It just means that like you've been sold the legend of like you've been sold like it's Jesus Christ in some ways. Like it's the second coming.
Yeah. Oh yeah. There's definitely a lot of games that are like that, and people like fight for it like crazy amounts online. Like, don't ever go on to Reddit and say like Elden Ring is overrated or something. You're gonna get blasted. Yeah. Oh, 100%.
Yeah, like I was tempted to talk about the Soulsborne games in general, but like that's not an overhype. It's just me not vibing with the genre, which is not the same thing. Because I recognize why they're done so well. Like there are certain games out there, like again, I have my hot takes about Clear Obscure. I don't think it's overhyped. I just think it's not quite what I'm looking for.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and we even had the conversation way back when. I don't think Clear Obscure is overhyped. I think games like Persona and Trails are underhyped because they're not given the attention they deserve. I think that's the difference. Like if we did an entire episode on underhyped games, oh my god, we could talk for hours about that shit.
Oh, easily. I think that's actually the most interesting one.
Because like honest. Overhyped is just saying I don't think you guys care about this as much as you think you do. Like,
yeah. So true. So true. Yeah, I had a big list for underhyped. That was actually the most interesting to look up.
Yeah.
So yeah.
But yeah. I think I've killed as much time as I can at this point. We're getting close to like 10:30 our time, which is pretty late in the evening. So I think what we'll do is we'll stop it here. And if Kaylan comes back in like a minute after I hit stop record, it'll be funny. But we will I will leave us a note so that when we do have the next show, that'll be the first thing we bring up on next week's show, assuming he's there. So that way we get that in there. But yeah, like I am assuming that whatever's going on is way more important than what we're recording at this juncture. So we will end this for now. So look forward to our side quest on Friday, which ironically has to do with, well, I guess I shouldn't say what, because it's technically a game about guessing. So Chris, unfortunately, is being subjected to my quiz games again. So we're playing a game of 21 questions. So he's got to figure out the game that I'm referring to, or the game that I'm thinking of, by just asking me yes or no questions. Did I have to help him a little more than I should have? You'll have to wait and see. But yes, I did. But it was still fun. You had a great time. I had a great time just confusing you, which just made my life better. I love torturing you.
Yeah. No, I know that. We need to come up with a new
I haven't even taken the kid gloves off yet. I can't wait to do that.
No.
Don't worry. I'll be nice. Whenever I do decide to take the kid gloves off, it won't be for fucking like, I don't know, like me pulling out Just Cause 3. Like I'm not going to be mean with that.
Imagine, I would never get that.
I would do something really mean and throw Sea of Stars on you, and you just have no clue where I'm going with it.
You would do that. And then when I didn't get it, I'd be so upset.
I'm trying to think, how could you 21 questions to Balatro? That was such a niche thing. That would be really hard. Like you'd have to be guessing, is this an indie game, and at least start from there. Like if you get caught on a AAA binge, you're screwed.
Yeah. Is this an RPG? Nope. Is this an action game? Nope. Just what?
I mean, I get the one thing that will always help in a game like that is like starting out with like, okay, when was this made? If I can nail the era down-ish, then I at least know the frame I'm working with. Because at least then you can figure, okay, like what was more popular around this time? Because that's when you can start thinking, okay, like if this game was made literally in 2024, okay, well, there was definitely a lot of things that were popular then, but like, okay, so Soulsborne, that's a pretty big thing. Action adventure game, open world games. Okay, I can start with that. Okay, this game was, okay, it's not an RPG, it's not a shooter. Okay, what the hell am I gonna do? Was this an indie game? Okay, yes. Okay, now I'm really gonna start narrowing it down. Like the last couple of years in indie. Okay, what is Adam gonna pull on me that he's gonna try to break me with? You can start narrowing it down from there.
Yeah, 100%.
But yeah, that is going to do it, folks. So look forward to that. So you know the drill here. If you're watching on YouTube, like the video, subscribe to the channel for more content. If you're listening on any audio platform, if you can give us a rating, please do so. Otherwise, share with all your friends, leave a comment, and don't forget about our link tree, which has the link to the Discord. That is linktr.ee/PixelPlay Podcast. Hope to talk to you guys all in our Discord there, where we shoot the breeze, take ideas from you, aka you give us stuff that we don't have to think. We're really happy when that happens. But yeah, we will see you on the next episode. Remember, as always, Wednesdays at noon for the main show and Fridays at noon for the side quests. So wherever you may be, have the good rest of your day, morning, afternoon, evening, night, whatever it may be where you're at. Take care. Bye-bye for now.